Chai After Dark includes adult language and NSFW content. If you have auntie sensibilities, this podcast is not for you.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Chai After Dark with your host, Captain Ron. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Chai. It is Captain Ron from Great Pods at your service with Shabnam Tai and Sameem Sultan with Shamim. With Shamir Sultan.
Shamir Sultan.
Man. With Sameem Sultan. All right. How's it going, guys?
Good. I didn't know we were giving like last names, and anyways, I changed mine, so it's sort of wrong. But I thought we could just be like go on a first name basis.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
We are on a first name basis. Oh,
you want people to know you?
You're loud and you're proud, so it's going to be popping over here.
I am loud and proud.
Cool. And you should follow Chai After Dark on all its socials at Chai After Dark on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Facebook page and Substack.
And Substack, that's right.
Don't forget Substack. I really like that jingle.
Dude, okay, so can I... Oh, yeah.
You love the jingle. I know, I love the jingle, too. Yeah. I don't know, this jingle kind of sounds familiar, but, like, I can't really place it.
I know it's been a part of my life.
So let me tell you guys about my week. Okay, I'm just going to tell you guys about... We're just moving on from the jingle origin story, and we're going to go to... We're going to go what I did last week, the last 2 weeks. I've never been to Home Depot this many times in my life, just because I was tasked to repair a doorknob, a sink, and the dryer, which was having no heat, and went through a plethora of YouTube videos and websites, and finally, I will say successfully, I repaired the doorknob. That was probably the easiest one. The sink was a little tougher. I had to go underneath and actually remove the wall piping and snake it. Got that cleared out.
That's
and then finally...
He piped and he snaked it. That's amazing.
Gang.
Chang chang, bang bang.
The way you say it, I hate you. The way you say it, I just hate you. That's it.
I think that was the point.
I don't know if you're being sincere or not, so I'm just gonna leave it as I just hate you. Whatever.
I'm just taking the After Dark thing very literally.
Yeah, for seriously. Yeah. And the dryer, however, was giving no heat and giving you a long, boring story on this. And ultimately, I went to Amazon with the parts, and finally, it wasn't the igniter that was not giving heat. It was a fuse. It was a freaking electrical fuse in the back, which only took me a half hour to fix.
I'm getting like 80s dad vibes from this. Like, I feel like, when are you going to tell me about that you
my
have
kids?
Like 2 children or something?
That'll be next. That'll be the anniversary. That's for the premium subscribers for Chai After Dark.
We got jingle origin stories, check 1. And then we got Imran's Secret Kids, check 2. Those are 2 bonus episodes.
Bonus episodes for subscribers to our, whether it's Substack or Patreon, one or the other.
Yeah, and then we also have Imran's Hajj. That's bonus episode number 3.
Oh, that's definitely bonus episode. Yeah, for sure. Because I will go on for 30 minutes on that one.
I think that's the one that's going to actually put me into hell. because of your After Dark comments when I go through it. You're going to be talking about Hajj, right? And
yeah,
I'm going to be saying other things. So we'll keep it
so
clean.
As a part of that, you're going to... well, I did pray to save your soul, so...
Thank you.
Oh, good. He needs it.
Yeah. Anyway, so those were my last 2 weeks. It was very handyman, I guess, dad vibe type of thing at my aunt's house, and so took care of it. I'm sure there's more stuff to do because there's no shortage of things happening over there.
Yeah, up north we got a lot of fires.
Oh man, I heard about the fire up north. I think it was the park fire that was started by some random dude. It wasn't even nature. It was the dude just wanted to start the fire. I don't know his full story, but they arrested him. But he's the one who started the largest one in California. Right now, it's the largest one.
It wasn't nature, it was nurture.
This dude he didn't get enough nurturing.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't get enough
God.
nurturing.
Anyway, what's
So,
going on with you guys?
The exciting thing is I had some family that came back from Maui, and they went to a pineapple farm and they picked pineapples, and then they gave us a pineapple, and the pineapple fragrance was pineapple fragrancing. It was amazing. So, and it tasted amazing too, but it was just so fragrant. It was the most amazing, beautiful thing. So that
I
was the
don't know
highlight
how
of my
I would
weekend.
feel visiting a pineapple plant or a banana farm, just because of knowing the colonial history, especially in Hawaii, of the white man going over there and building, just the whole colonial thing of pineapples and bananas of South America, Central America, and Hawaii. Hence why there's a whole lot of this anti-colonial pushback. Also, the Dole family,
Oh,
Ah,
the
yeah,
Dolphin
yeah,
Hare
yeah.
family, and all that stuff. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of massive and crazy, and I just don't know how I'd feel about it knowing it now. If I went not knowing and going, I was like, yeah, it'd be happy, good times, whatever. But knowing what I know now is like, I don't know if I would want to visit.
Yeah, I didn't know that before I ate the pineapple, so glad,
All right.
glad it's been digested.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sameem, what's your deal?
Oh my God, everything. I got family visiting from Northern California. They're having dinner at my ex-wife's house right now, so I'm here at the house recording this podcast with you guys. Think about that.
Wait, time out.
No, dude.
You're in San Diego right now, or are you in the Bay
I'm
Area?
in San Diego. They came and visited me.
Your ex-wife lives in San Diego?
Yeah. Sophie's
the
mom.
one that lives in San Diego is in San Diego.
Yeah.
I didn't know she lived in San Diego.
Not that one, the other one.
I thought she was still up in the Bay.
No, dude. We all moved.
What?
What do you
How?
think?
Why?
It's what? Okay, this is the concept. Is when you have a child, then you like to be near it.
Yeah, it's pretty. We're going to talk
Yes.
about that.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay, so she was able to move also because of remote work.
Yeah. Real estate stuff. We can do it down
Okay.
here.
So it makes
Yeah. But they're all over
okay.
there right now.
all
having
right.
a
So
great
it's all
time.
coming together. Look,
Yeah.
I was just out of the loop. Okay, so now this makes a lot more sense and cool. That's very cool. Okay, I validate your
It's
experience.
cool. I needed this 90 minutes to chill out. You know, it's been a lot. There's a lot of people here.
All right. But in this episode, we are going to get started, and taking over this episode, Shubnam, take it away.
Taking it away. Okay, so
Take me
we're-
away. Take me away. I don't know. I don't think we can
Oh
afford
my God,
it.
we're terrible singers. I'm not even going to try because I know I'm worse than you guys, and you guys were pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure this
I just remember the
person-
Pachanga commercials.
Yeah. And they sang at the Ambani Wedding. Whoever sings that song.
Oh, they probably did.
I don't know
Really?
if
I
they
Who
did.
was
forget
or
who
not.
that?
was it.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. They probably did.
Wait, is that Sheryl Crow?
No.
Oh, she wasn't there.
Oh,
There's no
okay.
way they invited
Remember
her.
when Imran? Remember when me and you saw Sheryl Crow like 10 feet in front of us in San Francisco at the AT&T
that was
Park?
legit. If
Wow.
anything, if there's a takeaway from like corporate gigs, you know, when there's a corporate
Yeah.
conference and stuff, and they pay money to get like a big time artist to do stuff, and me as the general public, you're the one going there for the conference, but I get to tag along for this awesome concert experience at Giant Stadium in San Francisco in a small little like one of the clubhouses type of thing
Yeah.
up there. Man, that's a time to remember.
That was a memory.
Wow.
Man.
We were just a couple of feet away from her, and she did
Yeah.
all her hits. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
thanks, Shubnam.
Now that we've gone down memory lane, we need to talk about the update of Pradyuman before we get into Ambani Wedding, because we have been talking about Pradyuman in our recaps of Indian matchmaking, and we're not really sure what order we're going to release these episodes in. So we might release this one first because Pradyuman Malu is one of the characters on Indian matchmaking, and we've been talking a lot about him, like I said, and turns out what we didn't realize yet until a few days ago was that he was accused of domestic violence by his wife. So in Indian matchmaking, he's like starting to go on dates in season 1, and he's like getting to know some women and things like that. And spoiler alert, he gets married eventually to a woman called Ashima. And they actually dated for 2 months and they got married in July 2020. So it's kind of like a COVID wedding, which it's hard to get to know someone during COVID. So potentially they could have gotten to know each other a little bit better if it wasn't COVID. They had a nice big fat desi wedding. And one event, which I thought was interesting, was a cocktail night that was money heist themed, which is pretty hilarious. And that was, like I said, July 2020. And then in September 2022, she left their marital home, accusing him of domestic violence, saying that she endured both physical and emotional abuse at the hands of her husband and his family. So the complaint further alleges that Ashima's family faced blackmail and other forms of harassment from Pradyuman and his family.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so he offered a brief statement saying, basically, I don't know about it. To the best of my knowledge, we are in settlement talks with the lawyers to resolve our marital issues amicably.
Damn.
And that's kind of that. I can't find a whole lot more than that on it, but it's pretty crazy, right?
Sounds like Nani John came in hot.
Well,
Nani John, or you mean his mom?
What would she call her mother-in-law?
Amijan?
Sus. Her sus
Amijan.
came in hot. Isn't sus mother-in-law?
Yeah, that's
Or
right.
in-law,
Not
at least.
Nani John.
Sorry about that. Nani John is a grandma.
Yeah.
Well, the ex-wife filed an FIR. An FIR in the South Asian region, which includes India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Pakistan. FIR is the first information report. So it's filing a police report, essentially, is what she did. And then it's up to the police and everybody to get all the information and do their investigation amongst the parties. Now, there hasn't been any update because with the Google search I was doing for all the articles and stuff that I was looking at was that it happened about late last year and it kind of bled over into this year. So do we not have an update?
So I thought this was late 2022 into early 2023. I didn't see an update though, which was weird. I feel like this almost maybe must have gotten settled or something like that because I haven't been able to find an update. Now I'll keep looking, and if we find some things, we'll put it in the next episode we record, which, maybe something that the listeners listen to in a month from now, who knows? But eventually we'll get to it if there's an update. But I couldn't find one as of now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the 2023 part. I'm just seeing a bunch of August 22nd, August 24th articles, including Reddit search updates on Google as far as.
So
when
did
the
you
FIR.
you didn't see anything in Reddit about what's going on with them?
Pretty much in the first couple of comments I did read were in favor of the ex-wife. And so I didn't read beyond that. It was just people kind of siding with it, but there wasn't any information for us to really discuss.
Interesting. I feel like generally siding with the woman in a patriarchal culture is not the worst way to go,
Yeah.
But I don't really know any details.
I mean,
so
she could have
it's all
broken any one of
speculation.
his little things. Mommy got mad. Could be a misunderstanding. Could be that he's crazy. I don't think we would know because they'd be so desperate not to get the details out there. And if he was already talking
Right.
about settlement, that quote, this thing's probably already been settled.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. If he's talking about settlement, he's probably I need to pay her and shut her the hell up,
Yeah,
right?
get her out of here.
He sold a couple diamond jewelries from his luxury jewelry store and gave her the money, and she went on her way and started a new life. She's 26, 28, whatever she was. So good for her. She's got some cash and she can live her life.
But now, where did they officially meet? It wasn't through Seema Auntie.
So this is all spoilers, but yeah, it wasn't through Seemanti. She does come on Indian matchmaking though, but he met her, I believe he met her on his own.
Okay. So it's kind of like one of my friend in Miami who hopefully we will book in an episode when the later seasons come out for us to comment on. But it sounds like it was that kind of situation too. You met off of Seema Auntie somewhere else.
Right.
And then now you come on the show just to throw it a bone, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting if we can get your friend
Exciting
on
for
the
the
show.
listeners too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When we recap those episodes, I'm sure.
Oh,
that'll
get your
be
questions
super
ready.
a
Oh
lot
my
of fun.
God. Yeah. And if you're following us send us questions at chaiafterdark at jaiafterdark.com. Send us the questions of what you have in mind, what you guys want us to talk about. That would be actually kind of cool to load up some questions for my friend.
Yeah, or even just generally like questions they have for us, what they're interested in, what they like, not what they
It's
don't
funny to
like.
watch Samim while we talk about that stuff, doing this like, and go to jaiafterdark.com. And he's just like, God, this is so cheesy.
I mean,
it just looks like so cheesy.
You're going to have some auntie.
Samim's shy. Samim's used to...
Some auntie from the past is going to hit me up.
Samim's used to like negging people and them coming to him versus like him trying to actually like be
Can you
warm.
imagine if we get rishtas through Chai After Dark at jaiafterdark.com?
That should be a separate email address. Because that inbox is going to get
Well, we can add like Chai After Dark plus rishta.
No, what they need to do is if they want to marry either of you guys, they should put Rishta in the subject title, and then
that'll get priority opening from Imran.
Say what they need to say.
This will be an interesting experiment. Wait, what?
They need to put Rishta in the subject, and then they need to send their bio data, and then they'll be considered.
And then we'll read that.
And we'll give it the Seema Auntie treatment.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll have her come on, and she can pick them out for you, Imran.
And just FYI, listeners, if you put podcast in your bio data, obviously I will take a peek at that. It will be plus points for me.
Oh my God, he's into podcasts?
Just like how the other guys were.
Hashtag great pods. Hashtag Chai.
All right. So Shabnam, keep going. Yeah, keep going with it.
Okay, so moving on to our big story today. It's the Ambani wedding.
What?
You know, if you don't know what the Ambani wedding is, you've been probably living under a rock.
I'd be so jealous.
What were you going to say, Samim?
I'd be so jealous of that rock.
You'd be
Or
jealous to live under a rock?
I mean, we could have done without a lot of these details, but I'm very excited to talk about them.
Isn't that the like theme of all Desi weddings, though? We could have done without a lot of these details, but I'm excited to talk about it. That's literally what you could say about every Desi wedding.
I think so. I mean, a lot of this detail that we're about to get into.
Give us the drama.
Okay, I'm going to take it back. Take it back to 1932 when Dhirubhai Ambani was born. Okay, that's Anant Ambani, who the groom is. That's Anant's grandfather. So Dhirubhai Ambani was born on December 28th, 1932. And he was the third son of a school teacher. He was born in the Gujarat province to a family with moderate means. When he was 16, he moved to Aden, Yemen for work. And he eventually became the distributor for Shell products there, and then was promoted as a manager in an oil filling station at the port of Aden. So the Yemeni rial coin at that time had a high content of pure silver, and it was actually worth more because of the high content of silver than the actual coin was worth. So Dhirubhai Ambani purchased them in bulk and melted them down into silver bullions and traded it to people in London. And that, I'm not quite sure, that feels extremely shady. I'm not quite sure if it's actually illegal or if it was at the time or if it's just kind of shady. But basically he was stopped from doing that in 30 months, but he made like a few 100,000 rupees from his transactions.
Wow. That's a lot of rupees back then.
Yeah.
It's definitely, rolling through it. Now, it's funny in contradiction of what you're saying there. I was listening to a podcast on my run. It's humble brag. I went on my run and I was listening to this podcast about the Ambani family. Mainly Dhirubhai, of course. Okay. And it was mainly just an informational podcast, like entrepreneurship of Indians and stuff. So they weren't going to go into commentary and opinions on the podcast. So in it, briefly, they said 500 rupees that he came away with, and he went back to India with 500 rupees. Wow. And I'm like, what, you only came away with $20? That's how you started your business in India? So obviously there's a little conflict of like information, at least this podcast. I believe you. I believe that story because like, why are you going to go back to India with just 500 rupees? That's not enough. Even back then, that's not enough to really push your own textile company.
Right. I wonder if they meant 500,000 maybe, but I don't know. That seems like more in the range of what the sources I was looking at said as well. But so after 10 years, he returned to India. That means he's only 26, right? So he returns to India and he founded Reliance Commercial Company with a capital of 15,000 rupees in Mumbai. So again, it seems pretty unlikely he only had whatever you said, 50 or 500 rupees or something, because he managed to get 15,000 to put into his new company. After growing his business and changing the name of it a couple times, it ended up being Reliance Industries Limited in the 70s. And in 1977, it IPO'd. And the rest is somewhat history. So the company is now India's largest private sector company with turnover of US $19.976 billion, backed by profit of over 2.03 billion US dollars. And 25% of stakeholders in India own stock in the company. So like everybody owns stock in the company.
It was a very heavy worker, retail investor heavy company, which is a positive for like somebody like us, right?
Right. So he had two sons. One was Mukesh, who's the father of the groom Anant. And then there was another son that Dhirubhai had named Anil. So when Mukesh was getting his master's degree in business at Stanford, his dad pulled him out of school to work for the family company. Mukesh went on to make a fortune through his company and has held the title of the richest person in India since then. In 1985, Mukesh got married to Neeta Ambani, and in 1991, they welcomed twins, Akash and Isha. And then Anant, whose wedding it was born in 1995. So Dhirubhai, that's Anant's grandfather and Mukesh's dad, died in 2002. So after his death, the sons, Mukesh and Anil, they couldn't get along. And so their mom had to split Reliance's assets in 2005. And then Mukesh took control over Reliance Industries Limited and its more traditional side of the business. And Anil gained control of the telecommunications, power generation, and finance services of his father's company.
Because they became a huge multi-conglomerate from textiles all the way through tech. Type of company, right?
Yeah, it almost seems like maybe kind of like the Amazon of India, sort of. You know,
no, this
in
is,
a sense, like different than Amazon.
Oh, way different. This is steel, and
like
they built India, and they were given billions of dollars of contracts from the government. It started as a steel magnet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was very industrial.
Oh, wow.
Like them and Tata built India.
Yeah, it was all like manufacturing,
and
then moved over. Yeah,
built up the cities, got no contest contracts from the government. So now India is basically run by three families: Ambani, Tata, and the third one I can't remember. But that's why the telecommunications and the finance and all that stuff. What happened to him? The other brother.
Yeah. Oh, so the other brother, he was really interested in doing local government stuff. So he represented Uttar Pradesh state in the upper chamber of India's legislature.
Which is North India.
Right, which is North India. But then there was some controversy because of the amount of stake he has in the private sector, that he ended up just not really having, a long career in that as well. So it sort of seems like he's, I don't know, enjoying his dad's wealth and chilling. Whereas Mukesh seems like he's really the more refined and ambitious businessman. So, of course, the Ambanis, Mukesh and his wife, sent their kids to school abroad. The older two, whatever, they went to Yale, Brown, and got married and everything. I was wondering, I was like, did they just do those kids wrong and they just spent all this money on Anant's wedding? But no, those guys had big weddings too, but I don't know, for some reason it didn't get the same press as Anant's. And maybe also they were trying to do it big because Anant is their last kid and maybe their favorite. Who knows?
With the advent of social media, you're able to produce all these moments that go international without having to rely on traditional media companies. So definitely traditional media companies are not going to really cover it unless you're the British Crown out here in the States, like Princess Di's wedding and all that. So like the royal weddings per se. So definitely that's, I think in India, you're not going to get that Western coverage as much as what we're seeing now.
Sure. Those guys didn't get married like a million years ago, though. They got married 2018 and 2019. I'm wondering if maybe like COVID has something to do with it. Like people just maybe got on social media more because of COVID. And then you're right in the sense of we didn't have TikTok back then. I don't know if TikTok makes a difference in this instance.
I think TikTok and
Or
Instagram, I think we've gotten more and more
Yeah,
and more
and
on
I-
social media in 6 years.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's definitely become more ingrained just because also the entire influencer market has transformed, especially during COVID. So you have a lot of niche influencers, you know, the 50,000s, the 100,000s, the 300,000, not the millions ones that are like talking about it, which have somewhat of a stronger reach, right? I think the reach has gone far and wide because of COVID. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I can see that.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So Anant is, like I said, the youngest, and he attended Brown University as well, like his older brother. He now serves as director on various boards within Reliance, but mainly Reliance Industries Limited. And it says he is passionate about focusing on green energy and public betterment. This sounds like the most cushiest job ever. Like he's the
He
director
doesn't
of
do
boards.
anything.
Like,
Let's be real. He doesn't do anything.
yeah.
There's no way.
It's just, this reminds me of when Pradyuman says that he got practical experience in the jewelry business because he basically got to just get the job because of his family. So I think what I would say is Anant seems to be getting a lot of practical experience right now. So when he was a kid, he struggled with asthma, and the family's PR messaging is that he had to take steroids and that led to his weight gain. I don't know why, like they feel like they need to explain his weight gain or his weight, which is interesting, but that's what they're going with.
Wow.
His wedding apparently cost $600 million, which is only a drop in the bucket for Mukesh Ambani, whose net worth is approximately $123 billion, according to Forbes.
That's it?
That's like, that's an insane amount of money. Like I can't even imagine like what that would be like.
It's so ridiculous.
Somebody made a comparison that's equivalent. You know, if you're making like $100,000 a year, it's equivalent to like, you know, $5,000 or something like that. It's like a drop in the bucket for.
No, I don't
Oh,
even.
wow.
It's not that much.
Not even. It's equivalent to zero, because at that point, what can you do with 121.5 billion versus 122 billion?
Well,
I think if you had
the
100
wedding
grand,
cost compared
wouldn't wanna
to
waste $5,000.
their salary.
I don't know.
Well, they wasted
I see
a whole
what
lot more
Sameem's
than
saying.
that.
Like what you're saying is that it's not equivalent because although it may be equivalent like in proportion, but if you have $100,000 and then you have $5,000 less, that's $5,000 less of stuff you can buy. But if you have like $123 billion and then you just have $600 million less, what is it that you are not still able to
it cannot
get?
change your life. Like that's the whole point. I think that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to. That's what they were trying to show. That's what it seems like to me. They were like, doesn't affect our life. This is how we live, peasants.
Yeah. So they had 7 long months of celebration. The engagement was on December 29th. Anant kept things quote unquote low key as he proposed to Radhika Merchant at a temple in the northern Rajasthan state surrounded by family and close friends. That doesn't sound low key to me.
You got all his family and friends out there, and they traveled.
I don't know. Did you ever do like a like proposal in front of people
Hell
besides
no.
yours? Yeah.
I wouldn't do
same.
that. But
I mean,
my ex-wife, her sister got proposed to publicly. I think they were hiking or something. And then we all went to their apartment, and then there was like 50 people there, and we like hung out, toasted the newly engaged couple. This was in San Francisco. And yeah, it was definitely a spectacle. Not a spectacle like this. Not like the Ambani wedding. It wasn't anything like that. But it was just people getting together. That's all it was. But it was definitely.
Shabnam, how were you proposed to?
I was proposed to in Joaquin Miller Park in Oakland. And we also were on a hike, but there was no spectacle and we didn't like party with people afterwards. I just got an amazing ring and
That's it.
and we like ate nice food afterwards, and I sent people pictures. Maybe I think I probably sent you guys pictures too.
I don't remember.
See, that's a nice, lovely
I was like, I don't
proposal. Quiet.
The engagement? I don't think that's true. I don't think Desi girls send their guy friends their engagement pictures day of.
No, I know I sent it in a thread.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I sent it in a thread. I don't know if maybe I just sent it to our girlfriend, but I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'll have the intern look through my texts.
Okay.
I.e. my daughter.
Your daughter.
Yeah. She'll do some research. She'll get back to us.
Make sure she doesn't find anything else in there.
Oh, I've been squeaky clean since it's chai after dark. Not chai after. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Not chai after dark.
Yeah, exactly.
What did Skinemax or Cinemax used to be called? Skinemax.
You answered your own question.
And then what Showtime? Yeah, I guess I answered that part. But wasn't there like HBO or Showtime? What were those after darks called? Do you remember? I don't remember
Skinemax,
what they were called. There was like an after dark or something.
I don't know. All I remember is it was blurry because we didn't pay for that shit. So the cable company was to blur that shit out. But you still knew.
Well,
what was
they
on.
have the late show, right? Well, they have the late show, and then they have the late show, and that's kind of, I guess.
Yeah, and there's after midnight.
After midnight.
After
that's
midnight.
Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah.
But that's a game show. That's not really a talk show. What Sameem's getting at is is something else, but we'll leave that be.
Yeah, table it. Okay, so
let's just put it under the table.
But it's a gross amount is what I think it is. I'm not going to speak for you guys because you can chime in, but it's a gross amount that you have in general, and then a gross amount to flaunt your wealth for that much. From what I know of other, I don't know any billionaires, but from what I know from other billionaires that I read in the paper, because it could be a puff piece. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, but they're usually more quiet about their flaunting their wealth, like Buffett. For example, Warren Buffett, use that dude as an example. They're a little more quiet about how they spend, philanthropy and all that stuff. Maybe their house is super nice, but outside of that, it's kind of like we're going to be a little bit frugal on how we display that wealth.
But there's also cultural differences there,
yeah.
Right? Like Desis love to spend money on weddings. Even we know a lot of people that had nice big weddings as much as they could within their means. And, I'm sure there are many people that are a lot less fortunate than all of us are, and all of the people that we grew up with were, right? So I think people could look at a lot of people that I know, including myself maybe, and say you wasted all this money on your wedding. It was so flashy. It was this, it was that. So I think there's that. I think it just feels icky because they are so wealthy.
Yeah.
They can be philanthropic and they can be flaunting their wealth at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter because they have so much.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're philanthropic.
Yeah.
But I would imagine they give money.
So let me go through some of the other occasions because we get into a little bit of that. After the engagement, they had an engagement party on January 18th where Radhika took part in a traditional Mehndi ceremony, and they had a bunch of Bollywood and Hollywood actors that attended that as well. Then they had a pre-wedding party in March with 1,200 guests, fireworks, feasts, and 500 dishes cooked by around 100 chefs. And they also hosted a communal dinner for more than 50,000 villagers outside of Jamnagar. That's pretty nice. 50,000, that's a lot of villagers to feed, right? And when you're talking about villagers in India that may not have access to a lot, that's, I'm sure that was a great day for them. Then they had a pre-wedding party in May, which was a 4-day European cruise in a luxury chartered ship, beginning in Palermo, Italy, and ending in Rome, with on-deck concerts from Backstreet Boys, Pitbull, and David Guetta.
Wow.
They also had a masquerade ball at a stop in a mansion in Cannes, which also had a performance by Katy Perry. And then in Portofino, on the Italian Riviera, there was a performance from Andrea Bocelli. Then we go into July. So July 2nd, the couple staged a mass wedding in a town 70 miles outside of Mumbai, where more than 50 underprivileged couples got married and received gifts ranging from gold ornaments to a year's worth of groceries. So that's pretty generous, right? July 5th, they had a Sangeet at the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, a Mumbai arts venue founded by Nita Ambani, the groom's mother. That event featured a live performance from Justin Bieber. And I believe Rihanna performed at the same time Justin Bieber did, correct?
I think so. Yeah, it seemed that way.
I think it was that same week. Yeah.
It was pre-wedding
Yeah.
celebrations.
Yeah. Okay. And then they had a haldi, which is like a traditional desi ceremony that some people do. It involves putting turmeric paste on your face to make your skin look better, aka you to be slightly lighter. And that apparently was a smaller, more private event. I did not have a haldi. Have you ever had a haldi, Samin?
I've never heard of a haldi. I didn't know brides were making themselves white in private before the wedding.
Okay, like you've clearly never gone to a wedding in Pakistan because they literally
No, I have not.
make sure that the foundation is a few shades lighter than you.
Oh, I've heard of like whitening yourselves up. Sure. Fair and lovely, all that stuff. But I'd be very surprised if some girl in Fremont somewhere got her face lightened up. If you did, email us and let me know if I was at your wedding and I didn't notice.
Well, haldi is a thing where they put like this it's just like a paste that you put on your face, a turmeric paste.
It's turmeric
right?
paste.
Yeah, it's a turmeric paste.
Why are you saying it like it's so normal?
But I believe
Imran's like, turmeric, no big deal.
No, I've seen people do this. Like I
Do you
literally
not
just
cook?
saw.
I use
all,
turmeric
Samin?
in my
Come on.
food, yes. I don't rub it on my face.
Yeah, it's yellow.
Nor-
It's
I
haldi.
don't
That's
think-
haldi, bro.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But he's saying
blast
Sameem's
from
saying
the
he's never been
past.
to a haldi event.
No, I've never been to a haldi event, but now I know what haldi is. You're right. Yeah, rubbing it on your face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just click.
So they make a paste from it and they put it on people's face. And they make an event out of it because.
So you marinate not only the chicken, but you marinate your face too.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah.
Why would you not do
A
that?
lot of health benefits.
If you were getting married. I now I see the benefits of it. How? I don't think I could marry someone without haldi on my face.
Oh, we're gonna put haldi all over it. Okay, so haldi wise, I've never seen it in real life, like at my Indian friends' weddings and stuff. I've seen it plenty of times in the movies, but in the movies they're not usually at huge places like a Mehndi type of pre-wedding event because you got to shower it off too, right? At least what the movies portray, you're going to be in like not skimpy attire, like modest attire, but like you're showing off your shoulders and everything, and you put the haldi on all over your legs and your arms and your face and stuff. So it goes all over. So yeah,
Imran's excited.
It's wild. You guys say you've never been to one. I feel like I've been to one. I can't recall though, but I've seen some like of my relatives do theirs, and I just this weekend on Instagram saw a girl that we know who got married do her haldi.
Oh,
I wasn't invited to that.
You weren't
occasion.
hit us up, lady.
Damn,
That we
how do you
know.
feel about that?
Tell us about your haldi.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you upset?
I'm not upset at all.
Oh.
Like, it's a beautiful wedding.
Can you be upset for this
Huh?
podcast?
No, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to fake things on this podcast.
Damn it.
Damn.
Anyway, so
Samin
moving on.
fakes it all the time. In bed.
Moving.
I don't need to fake physiologically. What are you talking about?
Okay. Okay.
Do you remember
Anyways.
Spice Channel? That was also scrambled too.
One track mind tonight.
I don't know these things.
Do you want to wrap up early? You got
So-
somewhere to go? Some things to watch?
It's already after dark, bro. I gotta go.
So,
Okay, so-
after the
so
haldi,
anyway, yeah.
after the haldi, there was the wedding main ceremony at Geo World Convention Center. That took place on July 12th, and then it was followed by a divine blessing ceremony on July 13th, and that took place in Antilia. I don't know where that is, but it sounds beautiful. And then they had a reception on Sunday the 14th that also took place at Antilia.
That's his house. That's what they
And
call
that's
it.
that.
Antilia is their house.
Oh.
That's the name of the house. That's what they call their
And it's
house.
like a 50-story build.
He gave it a
Okay,
name.
and that's a 50-story building, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's everyone's
I
seen
should
it.
name
It's
my
that.
house.
Yeah. What would you call it? Shouldn't have said it if you don't
I
have a
don't know.
name. This guy had a name, 50 floors. It's all like mismatched. Each floor is like dedicated to his wife or something like that. We didn't get into it, but from what I can tell, she controls everything.
The wife.
Yeah. And I don't understand the steroid thing either, so I think it's genetics more so than steroids. I also don't know. I don't want to make fun of this kid.
Do you want to get a wife that would control things?
I mean, I think it'd be very difficult for me to listen to someone if I had $123 billion. I just think I'd be all over the place thinking about the next thing you can do. I don't even know how I would have a partner, let alone taking $600 million for my son's wedding. Doesn't seem very practical.
Yeah.
I'd buy an NBA team with $600 million. That's what I would do. And I would sit courtside.
Am I mistaken that they don't own a cricket team, one of the local cricket teams?
No, they do.
Is that in your research, Shabnam?
Yeah, they
do.
own the local
I didn't
Mumbai
see that.
team. Yeah.
They do, Samim?
Yeah. I don't know what the name is.
Oh, the Mumbai Indians?
They own the
Mumbai
Indians. Yeah.
The Mumbai Indians.
I would... Interesting. Oh, you were serious. I thought that was a joke.
No, they own it.
That's interesting.
Reliance Industries has owned it since 2008 by India's.
For $111 million. Another drop in the bucket for them.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's pretty surreal that they own humans named Indians in a country named India. And then they watch them play.
Okay, so clearly with their money, their desire was to basically hire people to perform at their son's wedding, right? Like these were drop in the buckets too. I'm seeing articles that say Justin Bieber was paid $10 million, Rihanna was paid $8.4 million, poor Diljit only got paid $500,000.
Seriously?
That's what like
Diljit Dosanjh?
Yeah. And then Akon only got paid $37.5K.
And his is the videos that we kept on seeing all over social media as the most hype. I thought that his was the most hype concert because I looked at Bieber's concert footage and it was kind of like, okay, here, you can have the microphone for like a good half of the song, while Akon was just like, everybody get up on stage and party with me and have a good time. Like I felt Akon was worth more than Justin in that setting.
In that setting, yeah, but it probably took them whatever $10 million to get Bieber to agree to come from LA
and come out of semi-retirement.
Yeah, also like he's like a white kid from Canada. He's not gonna care, right? Like Diljit is probably like excited to go. Akon is still like Akon's sang Chamak Chalo before, right? Akon's the voice on Chamak Chalo, so he's like worked with Bollywood people too. You know,
who also would need to do a better job. Like, to be relevant, who would need to do a better job? It'd be Akon. It wouldn't be Justin Bieber or Rihanna. They could phone it in, and they would still be massively famous. Akon kills it, goes viral on social media. Done. Now he's back.
Yeah, he could use the work, I guess.
Okay, I just wanted to double check with you on the Punjabi singers that were there. It was Diljit that was there, or they had multiple? Because who I know, and I think our age group knows, Sukhbir was there multiple times.
Okay.
He was there. He was probably there the entire wedding. He was there for the procession and everything, even the pre-wedding parties. I wonder if he's just a regular friend and did it as being a friend, or was he actually paid as well?
I mean, I think if they're paying everybody else, I'm sure he wanted some compensation, and he probably got maybe more compensation because he did more events. You know, I also wonder how much Ranveer Singh got compensated. I couldn't find any numbers on that, but he was just a major hype man.
Oh man, it's on my feed all the time. Ranveer is just a very excitable, encouraging hype man for everything that he does. So I don't see it running past him being like a little bit of a look at me type of thing, but also just being the hype man in general, like taking over. Because I've seen plenty of his NBA appearances. He just loves the NBA so much. So he's super enthusiastic and hyping it so much. I think he's the NBA ambassador to India. Don't quote me on that. For Ranveer, I think he's just a normal, encouraging hype man. in general. He does that with Deepika all the time too. So he does it with his wifey, and he does it for everything else he's involved with. I do appreciate that amount of energy that he has. I don't know how I could keep up with it, but yeah, for sure.
I don't know who these
I mean,
people are.
I feel like I could keep up with it if I had enough substances, and that's really the only way.
Ew, what are you talking about? What are you referring to?
I'm just saying, like,
What kind of substance?
What's good? This is After Dark.
Yikes.
anyways.
Anyways, I think the substance is green. I think it was money. That's why these people are all hyped up for someone they don't know. Like, isn't that the whole point?
Maybe, yeah.
The original slave trade
Maybe.
at 7 and 8 figures. And these guys will come and run and do anything.
I guess, well, okay, so speaking of slave trade, this was my thought, right? I was like, the only interesting thing about this to me really was that they used all these like very like Western celebrities as like accessories, right? It was like, it's almost in a sense like you could see that piece of it as anti-colonial, because they literally like accessorized all these people.
They were buying humans.
Wild.
They were buying the most famous humans from the internet. They weren't humans that were like normal famous. Like those guys were in the audience. Like they had John Kerry there, who was U.S. Secretary of State.
John Cena.
John Cena was there.
Boris Johnson.
Tony Blair.
But he's definitely a dad invite. Like
Those
that's
are dad
definitely
invites,
political. Yeah.
Then you had Ambani,
business dad.
You
invite.
had his algorithm. He invited his algorithm, which is like our algorithm.
That's so true.
He invited Akash Singh.
Yeah.
I guess Akash Singh performed, and I wouldn't say he's a household name in the U.S. unless you're on the YouTube short comedy reels. So.
And who is Akash?
Akash Singh, he's a comedian here in the U.S. He's co-host of
he's
Andrew
on
Schultz podcast.
Best friends with
Andrew Schultz podcast. Yeah.
So he was out there, but this guy's like so rich. He's like scrolling on his phone. Get me Akash Singh to my wedding. Like it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That he's able to buy any human he wants, all the way to the top.
You know, you're right. Like that is probably it's definitely his algorithm, because they invited this one influencer who only had, and I say this only, we don't have that many, but it said only in the world of influencer, like 150K followers. And she was out there. She asked, "Oh, what jewelry are you wearing?" That's her thing. That's her niche. And she would go to Priyanka and be like, "What's your jewelry?" and all that stuff. And I looked up her profile. I was like, yo, you only got 150K? That's all you need to do? But you're making me think, it's like, well, him or his wife probably follow that person and is definitely a part of their algorithm. They went to their For You page and just went like, okay, this, and this. That's good.
Who would you guys invite? You have a top 5?
You guys.
You don't have
you
to
guys.
pay us, if you had that money.
So like obscure person, who would I invite? Like I would invite, there's this Desi woman, she goes by, I think it's like TikTok Brown Girl. And she basically does English translations of Desi songs in the tune. And so like, you know, Nimura Nimura song, she goes lime, 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 lime.
Yeah.
And so I would invite her. Like I've seen her in my For You page. I'd invite her.
I think I would invite
maybe
all these Indian guys that are showing up on my Instagram feed that I keep sending you guys. The actors, the ones that aren't like film actors, they're like faking acting in these small scenes.
Oh, Instagram actors?
Yeah, it's like Instagram's like the worst thing that happened to India. Like these guys all think they're movie stars because
they're so good. They're so good at what they do.
We got to play that reel of that guy that I sent you today, the one that like beats up a woman or something, but then he calls her beautiful, and then she like completely falls for him. He has 2.4 million followers.
Oh no! Okay, look, we're not going to advocate for abuse or anything like that.
I think it was the other way around. I think he like helps her. Sorry.
There's
she trips.
Two girlfriends. One falls into the water because they're like, "Whoa, look at this guy!" So the friend falls into some dirty water, while the other friend's like, "Oh my God, you're so hot!" And he's like, "You didn't help your friend." It was more about like, you got to help your friend. She fell into this water.
I didn't invite that
type
guy.
of thing. But it was such a good lip sync.
He'd be at my wedding.
Interesting. Have you guys heard of this series on Netflix called The Big Day?
No.
It's just basically like 2 seasons, like 8 episodes of different kinds of Desi people getting married. It's like Desi wedding porn.
Are we going to review that in a season of Jai After Dark?
I feel like it's too boring. It's literally just like wedding after wedding. Like I feel like there's so much more in Indian matchmaking because you get into the relationships and the backstories of people. Whereas the big day thing, it's literally just people spending money.
I got an idea. What we could do is binge watch it and we recap it in one episode versus spanning out 2 seasons.
Yeah, sure. Or we
Something
could do
like
we could do like 2 episodes, like one season and then one season. 'Cause like the way they break it out is like in interracial couples, and then they have bridezillas, and then they have a gay couple, and then they have a destination wedding. So they have these little topics of each episode, but really just the topic is an excuse to show the spending of money on a wedding.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's add that to the rewatch list for some sort of recap on that one. But yeah, keep going. What else we got?
There was a lot of good fashion there. I'm not super into desi fashion, but I did see a lot of takes on Janvi Kapoor and all her outfits and how they were extremely beautiful, and not just beautiful, but she wore something that looked different all the days, whereas some people just stuck to a certain silhouette that they feel like was very flattering for them. But she definitely had many beautiful outfits.
I don't know who that is.
From different designers.
What I found interesting also was like, as much as people say India, Pakistan, the rivalry or politics of it all, it was also, I was happy to hear one of the positive things from this is that there were Pakistani designers that were used also for some of the guests that were in attendance for their fashion, their outfits, because the Ambanis had very strict rules also around what you had to wear, when to get it, and I think they compensated for some of the outfits too or something or other. But the Pakistani designers being like for Sona Ali Khan, which is Saif Ali Khan's daughter. So for her, and she's a Bollywood actress also, Nepo. But anyway, so she was designed by like Iqbal Hussain, Faraz Manan, and Mohsen Naveed Ranja. Wait, let me make sure
I know all
got
those
that
guys.
Yeah.
I know them.
They went to
They
your
all
high
went to my
school.
masjid growing up in Santa Clara, California. Shout out.
Shout out to Iqbal, Faraz, and Mohsen.
I know
Of
all
course
those
we
guys.
know.
That's
We
amazing.
all definitely
They all became
know
fashion
an
designers.
Iqbal, Faraz.
They all became fashion designers. That's awesome. Faisal, shout out.
Alia Bhatt wore one designed by Faraz, which is cool. So, I mean, they're really nice outfits. Like those designs, I'm not berating any of the Indian outfits, but those Pakistani ones were so well done, like so intricate and well done. It was like a piece of art. If you guys get a chance to look at the Pakistani designers from the Ambani wedding, those pieces were pretty dope.
There's a cool TikTok of Janvi Kapoor and all her outfits, and of course they have the Desi Girl song, but there's a lot of awesome outfits in there. There's a peacock looking one which is super beautiful.
Ooh.
And
Let's put that up.
Oh, right. So on the Ambanis, like I feel like I'm pretty 50-50 with them because of the stuff that is put in the press and the media. What I know of the media, having been this much older now, is just you have to be a little bit skeptical on how PR works and publicity works. And so Anant or Anant?
I don't know. I just think every time you say someone's name, you should say it 4 times because that's
I
like
hate
literally
you.
never say it
I hate
once.
you too now. I hate you. Like this is a therapy session now, so I'm going to talk about how I feel. And so I feel like with the publicity, you have to be always watchful and a little bit skeptical on the philanthropy and the business. Remember, here in the U.S., we have like tax write-offs up the butt with philanthropy. Like, for example, Zuckerberg has his own philanthropy, and that way he can skirt taxes off of his real money by making his own philanthropy company, and that company can put it anywhere. You may think he's doing a great job. He could be funneling that anywhere and you wouldn't even know, just because you're like, oh, I gave $5,000 to LA students, this and that.
Right.
Where's the rest of it? We haven't heard any news from it now he has an actual animal sanctuary in India, Anant Ambani, and that while that's cool and all, I wonder about the rest of the philanthropy that's happening around India. You said it yourself, Sameem, like 3-4 families run India. Well, if the politicians aren't going to improve the system, I personally believe it's up to, if I was a billionaire, it would be up to me. And I would feel that I would want to be responsible and a responsible citizen of that country and try to improve the status of lower income folks, as well as animals. I'm not discounting the animal sanctuary at all. But that's something that I'm still a little bit skeptical of. But we know how the media circus is.
It'll never be.
I agree with you, but I think that exactly. Yeah, it'll never be. Yeah, I feel like if you were like this level of wealth, this is not a one billionaire, right? These people are hundreds of billionaires. And like when you're talking about, Bezos and all these people here, you don't get to that level without wanting to collect money, right? And so they want to collect money. If they wanted to not collect money and to give it to other people,
they would have done it.
Probably would have done something different along the way. Yeah.
They would have stopped a long time ago. Like it blows my mind that you sit on this wealth until you die, basically. Yeah, some people give it away, like Melinda and Bill Gates gave away 95% of their fortune. That's what they say they're going to do, but also their stock and their investments keep going up too. So it's not like they'll ever run out of money. Mark Zuckerberg was worth like $20 billion a few years ago. Now he's worth 100-something billion because of the stock market. It's like phony money, inflated. They can take loans out against that wealth. They don't actually have to use their wealth. But if billionaires ever wanted to fix this country or fix other countries, it would have to be like a recurring system. Like Ambani would have to tell his sons to also give to charity, who would have to tell their sons and their countrymen and other executives, directors. It'd have to be like a whole thing. You'd have to go lobby politicians for good things. And in our country, people only lobby for what they want. Google has their lobbyists. Microsoft has their lobbyists. It'll never change.
Change this law for me. Change that law for me.
You'd have to change perception of what it means to be a billionaire. Right now, it means $600 million weddings and $500 million yachts. And Jeff Bezos' girlfriend looks like Barbie reincarnated, but not hot. Like, I don't get it. Like, she looks ridiculous.
Why can't they be like Mr. Beast? Mr. Beast is doing
That's
the good
what he
stuff.
says, but he also lives in a gigantic studio with a full basketball court and full gym, like in a 50,000 square foot building. But he does live at a studio.
He's like where, in North Carolina or South Carolina?
Yeah. But yeah.
So, I mean, that's, I'll let him slide because, look,
he's young. He's like 26.
His videos.
Yeah, I'm not going to get on that kid.
Yeah. But my last question / comment, do you think the Ambanis, outside of Dhirubhai is the grandfather. He's the one who made this company. He's the one who stretched it into the 70s to make it the powerhouse that it is. That the kids, all the son and the grandson now, they're Nepo babies straight up.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you guys?
Of course.
Yeah, they're Nepo babies straight up. And if you look at what happened with the second generation, Mukesh and Anil, there's really only one of them that the mom felt was worthy of taking over the bulk of the business. So she gave it to Mukesh. And maybe something like that will happen with these other kids, right? Like one or two of them is going to get plenty of money to live their life off of, but they're not going to be the face of this rich family.
Well, they said Anant Ambani is already worth $40 billion. So he already has his forever money. And the other kid, you guys got to watch it. Like, Google the other son giving a speech at some Reliance Industries event, and he's like screaming into the mic, and it came up on my Instagram, and he's like, I love my parents, I love my religion, I love my company, this will be my life until death. He's like auditioning to be the favorite son.
Wow.
It's wild. And this kid's like,
Well, Akash Ambani?
yeah, the other, not Anant, like his brother. He's already married, but I think he's like a non-director or something, but he was like auditioning and yelling into the mic, I guess, trying to get daddy to notice him. It was really strange.
Yeah. So Akash went to Brown also, and as of 2022, he serves as the chairman of Reliance Geo Infocom Limited, spearheading the creation of products and services that leverage new age technologies like 5G, AI, blockchain, and the Internet of Things to bring about a generational shift in commerce, education, and healthcare across India. That sounds like every buzzword.
Poor kid. He didn't get the steal money.
Yeah, so I almost feel like Anant is the one who's like a director on the board of all these businesses. Maybe he's favored by the parents for some reason. Maybe it's his business acumen. Maybe it's his asthma. Who knows? Whatever it is, it sounds like he's being set up a little bit better to take over the meaningful parts of the family business.
Interesting.
Right on.
Interesting stuff.
So what I would say is we can all hate on this family for spending money on this wedding, but the reality is spending money in a manner in which you can to entertain people and have the best wedding is ingrained in Desi culture. Like everybody loves to do that, and parents love to do that for their children in Desi culture. So you can't really fault him for that. I think it's more just the lavishness of this and the gross amount of wealth. It's kind of just, there's an ick about it because of that. And you really get to see the class differences shine through that.
There's like an oligarchy, monarchy type of feel to it.
Yeah.
Feels a little strange.
But yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I said when we first
Oligarchy
started talking
and
about
monarchy. Yeah.
Like you were going through the examples and their pre-wedding stuff and mid-wedding and post-wedding. And what do you do like for the rest of your life? You wake up, you drink coffee in your Antilla 50-story mansion, but it's like, I don't know. People don't think about you day to day. Like we're thinking about them because it was all up in our news feeds.
Right.
But people are thinking about their own lives. And I think they think that people think about them and want to be like them when in reality, I would hope I would never want to be like that. But who knows? I don't have 120.
Yeah, and in fact, when you have that level of wealth, what is it that they desire to do? Apparently, like you said it well, Sameem, like this 29-year-old guy is like, you know what? Everybody I see on my screen, I want to buy them and bring them to life to me, right? And that's what he did. The only thing I would say is I think we majorly fucked up because if we started this podcast like last year, maybe we could have gotten invited.
Yeah. We could have.
Yeah. Well, great job, Shabnam. And just a FYI to listeners that we're not going to talk about every single detail of the Ambani wedding. So if there's things that we left out, we apologize. Don't send us any hate mail. And if you do send us hate mail, well, we may read it on air. Or send us some nice emails at chaiafterdark@chaiafterdark.com. Visit our socials. It's Chai After Dark. That's everywhere. That's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to go. We have a newsletter that we're signing up. That's going to be on Substack. So get on there as well, which will be posting the podcast and all the goodies. And stay tuned for more episodes of 3, 2, 1. Chai After Dark.
Let's play that jingle outro.
That's the jingle.
Email us about
That's
the outro and the intro. I love this jingle.
You love it?
I love this jingle.
We love
I
it.
can hear it right now in my head.
Love it.
Yeah, we don't want hate. Just show us more love. Thank you.
Later, guys.